A friend of mine from Vancouver, he called me up. He didn't know anybody on the island. He was in a band, and he wanted to come out to the island and play a show. So he gave me a call, and I had no clue what to do. I was working at Toys R Us at the time, or some crappy retail job, and so I was like, okay, I'll help you out. I'll try and get something done. And he told me a few things to do: get posters out, make tickets, sell the tickets, book the venue, book a couple of local bands as well. So I did all that, put on the show, and we had about 100 people come out to it. It was a lot of fun, and I didn't know, I didn't make a lot of money on it, but yeah, I had a good time doing it. People had a good time in the show, so I figured, okay, maybe I'll try it a couple more times. Brought out a band from Calgary and another band from Edmonton, and nobody came to those shows because nobody knew who they were. And so I was just like, okay, well, what's the next step? Maybe I don't think I should probably be doing this. But directly, probably that was a week later, I get a call from an agent in Toronto saying, do you want to put the Trues on? And I had heard of them at the time, because this is 2004. They were just coming out with their single. It was on the Much Music. It was on the radio. And so I was like, yeah, I get to work with a professional band, people know who these guys are, and so I put that show on. It was a lot more work than these local shows, but it went over really well. We didn't sell out, but we came really close, and everybody had a good time. The band had a good time, and so from there the offers just started to snowball. We got offers from all these bands all over Canada. It was crazy. And I didn't say no to anybody. If anybody asked me to do a show, I'd pretty much do it. I think in 2007, I put on 100 shows that year, and it was the most insane year ever. But it was it wasn't a moneymaker because I was just putting on bands that nobody knew, and there'd be a good show, and then there'd be 4 bad shows, there'd be another good show, and eventually you learn what bands work and what bands don't. We had some great bands build a following, like Mariana's Trench. We started out, they opened for a band called Lilacs, an all-girl band, who was sort of popular at the time, but we only ended up getting 30 people out to that show. But yeah, and then the next time we had Mariana's Trench out, they were actually, they had a video on Much Music and stuff, and we sold out a 200 capacity room with that. That was 2 years later. And then 2 years after that, they came back and sold out the Port Theatre, which is 800 seats. And then another year after that, they came back and we did the Bevan Park Auditorium, which was 1,000 people. That was the biggest show I've ever done. And so it was awesome to work with a band from the ground up, because they remember that. They remember you, they come back and they play for you again, like the Trues.
So my name is Maggie, and I'm going to school at VIU, and what happened was I had a project where I had to get someone to come in and lecture about some of my goals and things I wanted to do in the industry, and I love live music, and I didn't know how to get involved. I was doing some work with another promoter, but he did a lot of small senior type kind of events, so they're more like waltzes, and it wasn't really my style. I wanted to be more involved with sort of rock music. So I just asked around town. I was like, who do I ask? Who does events in town? Who should I ask to do this? Who's a lecture? So I sent him an email, I believe, and then he said he's never done anything like that before, but he would try. And then our school went on strike, so we never got that opportunity, which was really sad because I really wanted to introduce my class to sort of event planning and promotion. Then we just met up, had some coffee, and we talked about what kind of things I'd like to do in the community, and it was exactly what I wanted to do, so we've been working together ever since.
The bigger name bands will have agents and managers, and you can find them on their website. Basically, you go to the website, there's a contact page. You can contact them through there, or they'll, a lot of agents that I work with on a regular basis. There's an agency in Toronto, agency in Vancouver, an agency in New York, all different ones that have a huge roster of bands or comedians that want to come out, and so they'll either call me when a band is kind of might be on tour, and we're usually either the first couple of dates on the tour or the last couple of dates because we're right at the end. So they'll be like, yeah, we usually get availability in this week of like November 10th to the 20th, right? So find 3 venues on the island. One of the last tours that we did was Hay Ocean, so we had to find three venues back to back to back, and book that, and yeah, came together. So sometimes though we'll know a band well enough that we can just talk directly with them without having to go through management. A lot of bands will contact us, and we'll also seek out bands. I'll tell Maggie, look up some of your favorite bands and bring them out. Contact them and see if they're available, if they want to come out to next tours. I have my own kind of favorite music genre, which is 90s rock and roll, Canadian rock, and a lot of it is kind of out of date now. So there's still a lot of fans of it, but Maggie's more in touch with the newer music, and a lot of the bands that people actually want to see these days. So I try and get her to get more of that kind of band out here. Those kind of bands. Randomly throughout the years, I've had people ask like how they got involved with GotPop, and what I like to see mostly is like how much love do you have for the music scene, like how much do you want to help the music scene out. It's not about hanging out with rock stars or movie stars or whatever. That's fun and all, but we're trying to put on a show. We're trying to entertain people and make a good scene for Nanaimo. So yeah, it's about how passionate you are in that, and so once I see that, it's like the rest is I can teach you whatever you need to know. Like, you don't even have to know the first thing about promoting, but as long as you want to learn, that's a good thing to have, right? It can be a lot of work sometimes, but it can be a lot of fun sometimes too. We do a lot of different things. We go to shows and hand out flyers, which for 3 hours in the freezing cold sometimes, and like our fingers are numb. But it's all promotion. Start off, obviously all the contracts are done and everything, and it's the show day. I got to go and make sure that I have all their like requirements, like food and drinks, and any funny requests that they might need ready. I have to go get that ready and get the venue ready. Like if there's stuff that needs to be on stage or signs that need to be made for the show, get all that ready. We do a ballot draw, like to win prizes, and so we get that ready and we hand them out before the show to everybody coming in. So that's a great way of getting their email address and let them know about our other shows coming up. We get our prizes ready. I think about prizes like CDs or autograph posters and stuff. And then if we have to pick up the artist or comedian or whoever it is, we go and get that done, bring them to the venue, bring them to the hotel, set up the time to do sound check, get through a sound check. And what we usually like to do is we take a picture of the sound check to help promote the show. We'll be like, hey, Tom Green or Trues are in town, we're doing sound check. Have you got your tickets yet? That sort of thing. Right? Last minute promotion. Put it on Facebook or whatever, and all of our fans see that, oh yeah, okay, they're in town. Yeah, they're in town and they're just ready. We might do a radio interview. We might go to the Wolf or wherever, CHLY or something, and get them to do like a 10-minute interview, like play a song, or do a funny bit or something like that. That will help also. It's pretty calm actually. Like even for the bigger shows, most of it's done. And Maggie's there helping and getting the flyers out and making sure the band's taken care of and happy. And once the show's over, then we either hand out more flyers to people that are leaving, or talk with people, ask them how the show went, how they think they have fun. It's always good to get that reaction of people right after the show. We've got photographers that take pictures of the show, or videographers that do that. So we try and get as much information, as much promo out of it as we can. We get the artist to say it's called an ID, where they just get in front of the camera and be like, hey, this is Tom Green, you're rocking with GotPop or something like that. That's a really cool thing to have for our company. We can say that we worked with all these people at the time. yeah, just clean up after and taking care of the money, paying the artists, send them on their way, basically.
Yeah, long nights too. People need to be aware of that. You're working in a bar, you're working late, you're busy. A lot of people get distracted by that or tired, but it's late nights, early mornings. So it's a different lifestyle. It definitely is a lifestyle.
I put the YPN and BNI, and I think, I didn't know about these things before I got into this business. And once you learn about them, they're pretty good, because you meet a lot of the people who are in local businesses, who are very entrepreneurial driven, like they're just business driven, and they want to make some things happen in town. And it's good because you get referrals from people. Like they'll either come to your shows, or they'll have friends that'll buy tickets, they'll tell their friends about what's going on, and you can even start working with the people there. Like there's an insurance person that I get all my event insurance through, and so that was a good referral there. There's a guy who fixes my computer, and he saved me a bunch of times. I lost a lot of photos and videos and things, and he saved me through that. But it's finding the time to go to these things is tough sometimes, but they are very good for meeting people and getting to know people in the community, for sure. So any business that you're in, I totally recommend joining up with one of these things, at least trying it out, because if you don't know many people in town, or if you want to expand your business, you want to meet other business people, like-minded people. Started, I don't even think MySpace was around. It might have been 2004, I don't know, but we started out with posters. We started out with the newspaper ads, like we'd get it listed in the newspaper, a local TV station. That's about all I knew how to promote, and then maybe emails to friends or text messages or something.
Right.
And then MySpace came along, and so that you started to build a fan base through that. And that was pretty big, and you could post your shows up there and add your friends and invite them to the shows. MySpace kind of died out. Facebook came up, and just Twitter came up, and all these huge social media things came around, and that's where Maggie kind of excels. Take it from there.
So I've been doing social media as a part of my program, something I really enjoy. Our Facebook page is probably our biggest hub. We can organize all of our events. We probably have about 4 events a month almost that we have posted. So we're constantly updating. We got a group, we got our own page. We try not to use the group so often unless it's like for one of our larger events. Our smaller ones, we have our same sort of fan base that gets added every show, and they seem to enjoy it. We also started off an email newsletter list. We are expanding that constantly all the time. People can subscribe to that through our Facebook as well, and we'll send them an update of all of the upcoming shows, where they can buy tickets, and some of our sponsors as well. Twitter is something we do need to develop. The company is always growing, and just being at school full time, it's been a little bit tough to manage everything. But during the summer, hopefully our Twitter will be up and running. We'll be able to contact a lot more business people, which will probably open up a lot more opportunities, and get in contact with their fans a lot more too. And they can find out who they want to hear.
They're a huge part. Without these local, and it's a lot of local businesses too, supporting local businesses. Without them, it would be tough to get our shows around, because they help with a lot of the costs. And it's great. It's great to reciprocate that promotion, to see the businesses that you help promote flourish, right? Like a couple of ones that have been with me since the beginning. Lucid, it's a clothing store, and Transformation's a tattoo shop. They've been with me since pretty much the very beginning, and they like it because it's great exposure for them. They get to go to shows, they get to have their name associated with something local and something with the entertainment, arts and entertainment in town. So it's a good working relationship.
Well, with my media program, we do a lot of work for web design, audio, and film. So I'm always doing creative projects. And to bring that with GotPop has been really fun, because I've made a few contests. We've done a few little online games we've done. Just been increasing sort of what we're writing and putting out there. It's been really good. We got a lot of fans asking us questions like, can you bring these people? We like to put favorite band of the month up videos. We like to have fun, and we want people to know we're fun, our shows are fun, and it's been great to take my school experience and see it happen in real life. There's a lot of things you think are going to work, and you throw them out there, and maybe they don't go so well. And when you're dealing with, I think during Tom Green, we had over like 6,000 people visit our Facebook page. It was some really high number there. So you have to realize there's a lot of people in our community. They're seeing what I'm writing, what I'm doing. So it's been really fun to see it happen in real life and expand some projects and seeing what works and what doesn't. I'm really excited to expand it a little bit more. I like to see our Twitter happen, our website, and it just helps out great because I also do DJing as well, which I learned through my program and audio class that I expanded, and it works great with our business because sometimes we need a DJ after our shows. It helps out bars. It keeps it all in our company. So yeah, we can offer a whole bunch of entertainment.
Well, with the whole like duplication of like, you know, all the things you can download music, you know, get music for free, but you can't download the live experience of the show.
Right.
But even that said, there's so many things that people can get distracted from. Like maybe they don't want to go downtown because they'll get drunk and they can't get back home, and cab costs a lot of money, or the drinks cost a lot of money, and people expect to drink when they go to the bar, or the theater tickets might be a lot of money, and we try and keep our ticket prices down, as much as possible. But even then, it's like some big shows are $40 or $50 tickets, and but there's also like the competing things. Like there's lots of things going on. Like when you have a big show at down in Victoria, or a couple of big shows in Vancouver, you've got to be careful that you don't put on a show on the same day, or if there's a holiday going on, you don't want to put a show on the long weekend because everybody's out of town. So,
Or exam week.
Exam week.
Exam week's a tough one.
It's a very
We're
tough
aware of
one.
that one now.
Yeah, it's a learn as you go kind of thing, but you always got to be there. Who you bring out too. I mean, if you bring out somebody that nobody knows, it's hard to convince people to come out to see a show. But if you bring out somebody that like a Conley Crush or Trues or whoever it is, like a big name band, they'll come out. Like the perfect example is Carly Rae Jepsen, who's huge now. Like she's one of the megastar now.
Right.
But she started out. We put her on 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Over the past years. Like first time was 2007, or something like 2008 maybe, and nobody really knew who she was. She was just starting out, and she came back again. Nobody knew who she was. And then in November of 2011, we put her on to about 75 people down the street at Headliners, and she played that song "Call Me Maybe" as the last song. Nobody knew what it was. Like nobody knew it wasn't on TV or anything like that. It hadn't become the hit that it was. And 2 months later, boom, it was everywhere. So it was really cool to see that. But again, it's about timing. It's about, are they popular enough to bring people up? Now, if we put her on, she would sell out instantly. But back then, nobody knew. So it was like, I think we probably lost money on that show. We broke even or something. So in the hopes that they'll come back.
I guess for me, when I first moved here, I was always been a semi-social person, but once I started doing events, I know everyone now. It's fantastic. I go downtown, you're waving to everyone, you're talking to people. So many things have come up from that. They're like, oh, you do events, you must be able to do this. And then just with my digital media degree as well that I'm working on, people assume I can make them a website, which I can, but I don't have much time for that. But just being a part of the community and being in the bars at night, putting on shows, seeing how happy people are with the quality of entertainment you're bringing to them, it's just been great for networking and meeting people and really getting a feel for your city. I think that matters a lot. If you're going to start a business, you need to know who's going to be there to support you. You're going to need to know who you can trust, who you can call to help you sometimes, and it's like a big family downtown here. It's a lot different from the south to the north end. It's close-knit community down here. So
yeah, we've got a lot of great relationships with businesses, like even competing clubs. Like we'll work with any like pretty much anybody downtown, and everybody knows who we are, which is really good. Like they'll always be like, hey, put on a show here, put on a show here. And just even in Acme here, we just figured out, like they came to us and they're like, can you use the room downstairs for anything? And thought about it for a little while, and we come up with a comedy show that we're going to do once a month here, which is pretty cool. And at the Biggie Dock, we started a thing a few years ago, and doing acoustic shows once a month, or no, twice a month there. And they've been working out really well. So just constant, we get a lot of requests from other businesses about booking acts and things like that. So, yeah. In this business for so long, I've learned that there are definitely two types of people. There's the people that are, very, it's all about themselves. They're very, very hard to deal with sometimes. Like it's just all about them, and it's, for me, I like to help other people. I like to, even other promoters. I like to see them succeed, have good shows. It sucks when, somebody doesn't have a good show, or there's a band playing and there's nobody there because it wasn't promoted very well. It's, it's not a very good thing. It's nice to see them try, nice to try and see everybody succeed. Just to have some friendly competition, I guess, is what it is. But yeah, you could be a jerk in this business. There's a lot of jerks in this business, and I don't see the point in that. I'd rather have people feel easy to give me a phone call and be like, hey, what do you think of this band, or ask me questions or anything like that. And I want to be approachable. I don't want to be the guy that's like, people are scared to talk to because he's the guy that'll get pissed off if you do something wrong or something. So there's no time for that really.